this inside wrist grip, which is another really good grip to work with the triangle. So up until now, we know about the pronated grip, whereby that's a hand on top of the wrist position. Again, from there, if I control one of Car's arms, and we stuff this in, we can easily get into the triangle trap. We've shown you several versions of that. Another wrist grip, instead of pronated, is a supinated grip, whereby instead of my thumb being over the top, my thumb is on the inside. The problem with this grip is, when I push Car's arm into like an Americana position, he can pummel inside very, very easily. So if I push it from a supinated position up and back, he pummels it easily. The detail is, my thumb is across. My thumb, Danaher calls this the suicide zone. I wonder why. But my thumb is across that area. Okay? And then I make a 90-degree bend at my wrist. Okay? Here. So when I push that, and I have that 90-degree bend, if Carl tries to re-pummel that wrist, it's very, very difficult. Okay? Just because of the strength of my thumb and the bend. Play around with it, but if you keep your wrist straight, Carl can easily just pummel through my thumb. So the detail is getting the bend in the wrist and pushing Carl's arm into like an Americana position, if that makes sense. All he's got is rotator cuffs to try to turn in, which is a very weak muscle. Only direction he can do is pull back. That's going to get us the triangle. Okay, so let's put this into working grips. So let's just say from the hand side, I'm going to swim in and get inside control of Carl's right arm and bicep control on the second arm. Okay. So from our position, maybe I'm going to bait Carl into winning an underhook. His goal will be to flatten me out and getting it into passing positions. So let's look at the three variations of this. The minute he has the underhook, that gives me the overhook, and I'm looking for that inside wrist grip. Just turn this way. So whether I bait him into underhooking or whether I just go for the overhook, that's fine. I'm looking for that wrist grip. So again, thumbs across the suicide zone, add the bend of the wrist, and from that position I'm going to stay here indefinitely. My foot's on his hip, and then I have an unweighted leg. Even if I'm down here, I can still get it into the triangle turn. And we will finish as before. So whether I'm in the seated guard position or hand fighting, the minute Carl wins the underhook, that's going to give me the wizard. And I'm looking for that inside grip. Again, detail, I'm keeping my wrist bent. You just have to play around with it. And the thumb is across the suicide zone, inside veins. Again, I can do this from a seated position where my back is off the mat. I can just bring my leg in and we're into the triangle trap and finish as before. Or possibly Carl now runs me to the mat and just flattens me out. I'm in the same position again. Okay, I have the wizard, foot will go on the hip, and now that 90-degree bend of the wrist just pushes Carl's arm out. Once I bring my knee inside, we're back into the triangle trap. That's from an overhook. We can also do it from the underhook. We looked at the far side underhook on Tuesday night, this week after that. To say we were playing the game, I won the underhook. The detail was the grip was on the shoulder, and I had a raised elbow. My head was in, and we looked to come across and find the other shoulder. The goal now was to bail out, and if Carl puts the overhook on, that allowed me to move into the triangle. Okay? But I can straight into that inside wrist grip from there as well, just from that far side underhook. So say I win the underhook, okay? And then I switch the far side underhook. From there, if I make that grip on Carl's wrist, it's the same thing again. Foot's coming on the hip, and then I can bring that leg through, and we're into finishing the triangle again. You can play around with these. So, hand fighting, maybe Carl makes that single necktie. I presume. And then the underhook. Remember we talked about it Tuesday. I want my forearm parallel with the mat. A weak underhook is my elbow down and then Carl comes inside. A better underhook is my elbow or forearm parallel with the mat. And now from that position we can go and get head control as well with that far side underhook. Now from there I can find that grip, push it out, or as Carl fights to try and get it back, foot's on the hip, and then I can sit through and then try it again. And again, you finish as before. And from, say Carl makes the collar tie. One of the first grips we looked at was the overtime. Perfect time again. Again, as Carl's trying to hand fight, there's my grip. So I'm pushing his arm up as into like an Americana position. Thumbs across the suicide zone, and then I make that bend in the wrist. Again, foot on the hip to create space. And then from that position, we're straight into so overhook version. Then swim inside, get the grip, foot on the hip, and in. Far side underhook, so I win the underhook, and then push the far side. Again, it's just all a battle again. We're in. Or Karen makes the single necktie. I make the overtime. Again, if his hand is down and it's not up like this, I'll be pushing it into a coordinated grip. Does that make sense? But if his hand's up and we're hand fighting, I'm looking at inside grip. The bend in the wrist. So if it's down, it's pronated. I just push it into his belly. Does that make sense? If it's up, inside grip, and I have that bend in the wrist. You'll play around with it, you'll lose it if your wrist is straight. You'll pummel inside every time. So it's getting that grip. And again, I need to keep distance. I don't want Carl moving his hips towards me. Yes, very, very difficult now. I don't have the space. So my foot's on the hip. I just push that out, so I go straight into it. The triangle trap and the triangle. Okay, let's play with that. 3 easy little setups into that wrist grip set.